So thank you for everybody to come into the privacy talk. Today I invited Agata from Poland. So it's great to speak with her about her work and AI and data, these topics. So thank you for Agata coming to this interview.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this invitation and the opportunity to meet and speak and share a little bit of our thoughts and opinions. So thank you again. Can't wait to go.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to introduce her profile. Agata is AI and data expert, IA, CA, and research scientist, Research Lab CODR.PL, WWSIS, Poland. She has several expert roles at European Commission, Innovation-Friendly Regulations Advisory Group, and the Observatory on the Online Platform Economy, the Commission Expert Group on Artificial Intelligence and Data in Education, Training, and more. So these interviews, we got an opportunity to explore with her about her experience and the work. So Agata, again, thank you for having this moment.
Thank you again. It is my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So let's get a start in the first questions. So you had many experiences in European Commission as advisory. So we are very curious, your history. Why did you start to work in the European Commission? Could you share about your experiences so far?
Okay, it started during my studies, so it was some time ago. I was pretty interested in the European law and in the information technology as well. So I was the first one who provided a dissertation, doctoral dissertation on the use of digital content within the cloud computing and within the cloud itself. So it was the first one in Poland. So consequently, I wanted to share my experiences and share my knowledge with people who are familiar with the topic. As it is pretty understandable, it was pretty initial work on the issues. So the European Commission and the initiatives that are provided there were a pretty natural choice to pick and pretty natural path to go. So I've luckily started my experience as an independent expert. First of all, I think it was the EU Observatory on online platforms economy, considering fairness and transparency at the first place. Then I took part in several initiatives that are kind of related to each other as one considers digital single markets. Then I provided my expertise and my opinion as an independent expert for the purpose of the artificial intelligence and data in education and training expert group and the guidelines that were provided at the very end. And then, as one can perhaps guess, I was additionally engaged in several different activities. Still the one that may perhaps be underlined because it's publicly provided within the European Commission register is the Innovation-Friendly Advisory Group that is ongoing now. So I'm pretty consequent with my point of view, with my field of interest, and my engagement within trying to make the better future. Of course, not solely and not by my own. Still, I'm trying to support any initiative that perhaps may make us feel feel better, live better, and actually be better human beings. So perhaps it's a little bit idealistic. Still, it works like from 15 years since I've started my studies, and I hope I can stick to that idea pretty independently and pretty surely. I mean, seriously, because it is a truly serious question: how to be a human, how to go and follow the ethical set of rules, how to take care of our kids, of our elderly people who are pretty lost within the new reality. And I think it's really, really important to discuss those topics publicly, with an engagement of multi-participant stakeholders, initiatives, and all those things that could make that multi-participant efforts valuable and beneficial for all, not just for the individuals or specific companies or so, because we are all living here and we all would like to have a better future. But it's kind of idealistic, still it works.
Yeah, that's impressive. So until you start to involve the European Commission, what did your major work? I think you have a great experience in the legal space, and you have any ideas why you start to work on your specialties so far?
Well, my profile was a little bit complicated because I studied physics, I studied law as well, and I studied biotechnology. So I'm pretty not decided, as one can say, and on the other hand, I'm pretty interdisciplinary, interested in many issues that are interconnected in a way. So I'm trying to find a path how to connect them, how to build bridges, how to reuse my both scientific and programming or coding skills that are in the background, and on the other hand, how to provide them in the best way one can provide, as to reuse my professional profile as a lawyer, as an advocate. So I think it is very useful to have different sets of skills and different interests, because that makes you gain some kind of holistic approach, and based on the pretty interdisciplinary way of regarding things to make them better, instead of just trying to discuss within people who sometimes have some problems with communications. I'm a translator for my own thoughts myself, so I'm trying to combine both maths, pure maths, applied maths, physics, with the legal roots, from the very professional perspective that is provided elsewhere. So I think it's a combination of many different factors that created me as me. So I've started to discuss about my professional background. I've been active in a first marketplace in Poland several years ago. So I think it's a way of combining technology and the legal issues, economy, and in a way ethical way of reasoning or regarding things that is provided within the professional expertise as a lawyer. So I think it's just pretty useful for this times. It's pretty nice set of skills that I'm using with great pleasure, and I hope that it is used for the purpose of the good sake and well-being of others.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I suppose that your very brilliant experiences has been connecting to the in recent their activity as an expert group in the European Commissions. So you involved so far the many of the expert group as the members, then you contributed the great efforts until. So could you share your role at the European Commission? What expert group so far? What kind of work you have done as the group member?
Well, European Union and the European Commission is a pretty democratic body, let me call it this name. We are discussing about thousands of things. We are asking citizens to share their opinions. We're asking regular people what they would like to have and what they are afraid of, for example, how they would like authorities to help them gain their goals, their well-being, and so on and so on. So for this purpose, European Commission provides, as well as the European Parliament, provides some kind of advisory bodies which are created from the independent experts and organizations that plays a role as the independent experts in the field and as the stakeholders as well. So those discussions are provided to gain a better policy outcomes, better policy directions, better hearing what is or can be provided to gain the best purpose and the best effort results, let me say it. It's not just about affording or contributing. It is all concentrated to build the best result that one can achieve. So I'm of this great honor and privilege to be the independent expert who contributes the experience, the knowledge, and perhaps some kind of regular common sense that is related to a regular citizen as well. So I'm combining different roles as a one who is just speaking within the group of like 15 or 20 or 30 persons who are meeting in a specific place, still who are providing scheduling, planning, or suggesting any initiatives that perhaps may be helpful or beneficial for the purpose of all citizens that are living within the EU. In the last months, I think that the perspective changed a little bit, because we are not just speaking about the Europe itself. We are posing questions about the global impact that is related pretty naturally when we are speaking of the internet connections, cybersecurity, exchange of data, reuse of data, use of several applications, or working with the models, or providing the execution of human rights, as the education is the one, and the health is the second one, the environment and healthy environment is the third one, and so on and so on. So we are discussing things that are, I think, not so pretty that are pretty serious to find the best solution that one can, instead of just trying to be an expert who says my opinion is the one and you need to stick to it. No, it's not that. We are posing open questions. We are trying to discuss things and find as much opinions as one can consider, to have the comprehensive approach, to have the complex approach, to have the full view of the situation, or the most extended as one can, just not to stick to some kind of strict opinions that are closer to orders instead of the results of any discussion. So when one regards the role of the independent expert for the European Commission, it means that each and every one could be one, and actually is one, when one is participating within the service, within the public consultations, because your voice as the one who lives in Japan will be heard the same way when you will take part with in the public consultation as mine. So it's not the one that I'm the high school VIP. I'm the one who has a particular skill to aggregate the information, to pose questions, and to try to combine the information that is collected within one document. So it is, technically speaking, a little bit more technical work, instead of providing the opinion or expertise that is solely based on one's way of thinking. It's a way of balancing the lot of interests and going towards the human rights as such. So we are just the little wheels in the big machine. Still, we are perhaps more skilled in aggregating the information that is provided, in collecting the information, and trying to provide a final text to be, of course, evaluated in the future. But for the purpose of the text, we're trying to provide the best approach that we can gain as a group that is collected to do so.
Yeah,
so I hope
it's a very interesting. Then you have the system to invite the independent experts involved in the decision processes, which is the respect for the participants in a different background, different perspective, which is very important to make more diversified decision-making processes to the one consensus. So in this sense, I think in Europe has been a very more democratic procedures to making a decision and making a discussion among the stakeholders, especially for the Commission and Parliament. So as an independent expert, could you share your experiences between the procedures of the decision making and the stakeholders about a new draft making in this sense?
Well, the role of the expert is try to aggregate the existing set of knowledge. The reason for calling one of the expert groups the observatory is to explain the role of the experts, independent ones, and their role. It is about observing, about formulating our ideas or the results of our examination process and in-depth examinations that are provided. So we are not those who are deciding, we are those who are just presenting the picture that is present, and that is the supportive or adversary role that is provided at the very end. Well, when one say the guidelines, for example, it is such the document that is provided by the expert, but it is more or less something like a guidebook, something that's supposed to support people like users, like stakeholders, like developers who would like to use the information that is provided politically done in a regular legal framework. It is kind of explaining things, how they work, how they're supposed to work, as one concerns the aim and goals are to be provided or to be gained. And I think that then when we are providing that information, the initiative is related to the European Commission, I mean the legislative initiative, and then they are proposing the regulation, which American calls the bill, for the purpose of the work of the European Parliament. And then the European Parliament discusses it on their own area. with the independent set of experts as well. So they are posing questions, they are trying to explore the information to clarify some doubts, if any. And then in Europe, we've got some kind of trialogue process, which involves the government, the parliament, and the operational part. I mean, both the European Commission and Council of Europe. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not an expert of providing the regulation on that stage. So still, the trialogue is provided for each and every one, especially for the countries, to share their thoughts, to share their opinions, to share their concerns, to clarify the situation, to clarify the goals, to clarify the aims. So the process is a little bit lengthy. I mean, because we've got a lot of people who need to take their part within the discussion. Here in Europe we have. So at the very end, when the commitment is made, I mean, we've got the agreement, the regulation it goes through the European Parliament itself, and then we've got the regulation, or perhaps directive, that is coming into force in a provided time. So what one can say, we've got 27 countries to deal with, to discuss the topic very deeply, very broadly, in a way trying to consider and balance the different interests that may appear during the discussion. Of course, it is not easy, because you cannot find a solution that will satisfy each and every one and within each and every minute. Still, we've got here in Europe the set of values, mostly based on the ethical way of operating and the human rights. So we are really, really focused on the quality of living. It is kind of human-centered approach that actually has a potential to build a very, very huge economical impact, instead of just providing the approach that is concentrated or prioritizing the economy and the companies itself. We're starting from the beginning, I mean, to say the human being, and then we're trying to provide the way of expanding the possibilities of the market and developing the economy, but on the basis of providing a very specific pattern that is concentrating on humans.
Yeah, that's very informative. Thank you for sharing the experience. You mentioned the human rights is a centric of the procedures of the making decisions. It's gonna be the very important the centers of the core to create the new output of the decision making. You involved in interesting guideline in terms of the artificial intelligence so far, and it aims for the teaching the learning for educators. Artificial intelligence is very important topics in this moment because of the many technical development is arising at this moment. So could you share about these guidelines, and could you share any points that you want to share with the listeners? So that is very helpful to understand of the artificial intelligence and also acquiring some mindset for the education.
Okay, thank you for this question. The guidelines are the results of the work of a group of people, so I would like not rather to highlight any of my favorite points, because I would like to to be in line with a huge and valuable and beneficial efforts of each and every one who was involved during the work to provide the guidelines itself. So perhaps briefly and generally, education is the first stage of shaping the personality, the profile, the way if our kids and the next generation is going to cope with a reality. So I'm pretty in line with the idea that teachers are very responsible people who are responsible not solely in their place of work, but they are responsible for the purpose of the future shape of business, future shape of geographic location, and so on and so on. Most of the teachers, let me say it precisely, all the teachers are very responsible people who like to provide for the kids a great and absolutely fabulous word that they can live really, and they can show and experience the way of using their talents. So what we've discovered is that AI in education is not the way of providing one standard that fits all, but it is about discovering the talents that each and everyone has and trying to expand them, to use them, to have some kind of fun on having the talent and reusing your skills that you have naturally. And teachers are the best who can provide that particular path of encouraging young people to be a little bit different instead of just being standardized, because we all are different, and it is a waste of talent not to use or reuse it or develop it instead of trying to say one fits all. So what I've discovered personally is that artificial intelligence can be extremely supportive in finding that particular differences and talents that are creating our humanity, each and every person solely. So it is pretty crucial and essential to have this particular opportunity to uncover the greatest treasure that we already have, and perhaps we are missing that in standardization process itself. Still, the idea that is provided not solely by the group or OECD or UNICEF or UNESCO, whoever is deciding from the biggest decision makers, is providing the regular trust to the teachers who know their classes, know their pupils, who know what is going on within the class, within that bubble, and then they can cooperate with the technology to provide the best solution one can find, not to overwhelm or to get to push into the corner of depression our young people, but to uncover the talents, to make them beneficial, and actually to reward them for having that talent, as each and every one has at least one. So what is the most magnificent role of the AI and responsibility AI is not to spoil the opportunity to get the best and uncover and in a way to use the best treasure that we have, the talents, the knowledge, the field of expertise of each and every human being solely. So that is why we should go with the AI very seriously and concentrating on a supportive role of AI instead of trying to make it fast monetization on any type of standardization, of any type of gaining something that may raise fears instead of highlighting the supportive role of technology that is actually in behind of the idea. We all can see that the idea of supporting role of technology is pretty natural for each and every one, and perhaps some technology related companies are missing the point, not in purpose actually, but with a lack of communication. So that is why the guidelines are provided by the Commission and provided by the UNESCO as well lately. I think it was UNESCO or UNICEF. I will check it if you wish. Still, what is really important is to benefit from technology, to communicate with teachers, how to do it on the purpose of their absolutely unique experience, how to communicate with how to build a bridge of communication between teachers and technology providers, because we all can benefit from that cooperation and that multi-participant perspective and efforts and contributions, instead of just trying to guess what perhaps can be the best. What arises more fear than beneficial outcome itself. So the guidelines are pretty in line with the idea that as long as we are discussing, as long as we are cooperating, as long as we are sticking to the goals that are human-centered, as long the benefits and the absolutely treasurous values can be achieved for each and every one, including business development as well. So as one can perhaps notice, the European Union was firstly based on the economical commitments. So it is not about being just ethical philosophers, because all the people in the European Commission are rooted from the very, very solid fundamentals of economy. So it's not speaking about the some kind of set of rules that are that perhaps make no sense. No, opposite. It's totally opposite. A group of extremely experienced people who are good at economics, they are trying to fit the best solution and the best pattern to provide business development considered on humans and supportive for humans, and actually exploring the best what humans already have inside, starting from the very first stages of education, because we don't want to miss any talent and any profile that is so beneficial for not just for itself, but for all of us as a group. So we cannot miss anyone, we cannot left anyone behind, and we cannot waste the talents that is already there. So perhaps it's clearly the economical approach, but actually it is the approach that combines human rights, education, experience that is related to teachers from ages, and the communication skills that are providing the possibility to have a really, really, really valuable growth. We've added the green policies to the entire picture. In Europe, actually, when I'm using the word we, it's not me or you. We all added the green policies because they are related to human rights. They're related to humans who would like to live happily, who would like to have the best ever conditions to live and the best ever conditions to develop and to be interconnected and bridged with the economical outcomes of development of businesses and economy itself. So it is pretty combined, but this is the fundamental approach of European Union itself.
Yeah, that's very insightful for me, because the economical advantage is not just the sole purposes, then just be the combining of the different factors, especially for human rights, is also the fundamental for us to live on the societies and the given like flourishness for the futures. From the perspective, even the artificial intelligence, there is a very technology advancement in this sense. Among the tech community, the generative AI is the one of the advanced technology at the moment. So you involves also the European AI Alliance. I think among this alliance, you discuss about this new AI technology in this sense. So in the tech space, we see the good aspects, but there's some concerns about this new technology, such as the privacy, such as the copyrights, many of the concerns. So from the education perspective, so what do you envision of the new technical development, artificial intelligence? Then what things that we can do for that the future?
Well, I'm not going to be the Christopher Columbus that goes to America when I will say that we are not talking about some type of intelligence actually on that stage. We're talking about some sort of mathematical algorithms who are providing the results on a basis of data that is provided and on a basis of some sort of typically mathematical operations that are actually planned, scheduled, and translated into the machine code. It lays far away from the intelligence that we can consider as related to human beings. So first of all, I would like to demystify the artificial intelligence definition as it is and a type of intelligence. We're providing some kind of behavioral patterns that can be implemented into code, but they are still not as effective as one could possibly desire. It's not about creating your artificial friend that is speaking with you, but it is about just reuse with the set of algorithms that are provided in a specific cycle or in a specific procedure or in a specific concept that is related to the group of developers who provided the software itself. So first of all, we are not talking about the intelligence, and that is the main issue that we need to deal with, that people need to be aware of the fact that we are just talking about something that even is not calculating. It is based on a specific set of data that is statistically going to provide a specific answer, and that's it. If one is a little bit different than the regular standard and the Gaussian chart perspective, then we'll see that inevitably not each and every one is the same. So we need to be very careful with artificial intelligence. Let's make the quotations. That this is something that we can provide or deploy without any further awareness or some kind of additional measures to make it safe for people and to make it reliable in a way of understanding the approach that people are believing actually by the means of intelligence, that they are speaking with an artificial friend instead of just being provided the information in the way that it is. So I think that the artificial intelligence, I mean, the reuse of complex algorithms, is pretty beneficial for each and every one, as long as we are building something, as for example, Samsung does, I think a couple of weeks ago, that they are building their own set of documents to build their own knowledge base and knowledge sharing operational model for the purpose of their own organization. For the purpose of schools, we can share a lot of documents, but still when you will recall any discussion, we have different habits in different locations. We've got different backgrounds. When one will see the considerations over the business communication worldwide, you'll see that we've got different connotations. As for now, you're Japanese. I'm the European who was born in Poland. So we've got a really different notation in language. We've got a different way of thinking because we are using a different set of signs to express our feelings, to express our thoughts, and to express our willingness to communicate. We cannot feel in a way guilty that we are different, that we have different genuine language, and we've learned in a different way. So we need to be really, very curious about the possibility of exchanging thoughts. Still, we cannot provide one-to-one pattern to deploy your materials from your school from Tokyo, or my materials that are provided in my school, in my location, because they are pretty different. They are, it's not a way of thinking that one are better and one are not so good. It's about different approaches. So that is why the direct exchange of copying the information that is provided in one place into another place and trying to seed the knowledge that is not really fit to the background of locally operating group is a pretty serious experiment to do it live and to try to observe it in vivo, or test it or monitor or assess it in vivo. So the discussion is, from my personal perspective, and as I can see that, the discussion goes to try to use the AI with a great beneficial, I mean, it's not AI, I'm repeating the form, to use algorithms within a specific environment and try to make it as beneficial as one can. Still, try to exchange some data between the bubbles, and not to try to force any particular pattern to try to monetize and standardize each and everything for the purpose of being reused worldwide without any further notice. It is not a wise approach, because we cannot mess up in the heads of people who are pretty in line with a different set of rules and regulations. And we cannot just say, you are forced to go with the English classes on the basis of a specific pattern, because the teacher locally will say, no, our kids will not gain any benefit from that approach or that methodology, because they are not able to follow the procedure. So perhaps we need to figure it out, how many things that are so common that we can arrange the way of communicating and very cautiously providing one information from one grant to another, and try to compare it, try to analyze it, instead of trying to force the idea that one fits all. Because one fits all fails within the simple shoes. So how can it not fail within the very serious and complex program as education is? So if one cannot create the shoes that are going to fit for everyone, we cannot think that education is going to be provided in a way that fits for everyone. From my personal perspective, oppositely, algorithms are providing a huge, absolutely magnificent way of finding the ways of supporting students who are a little bit different, who are not so standardized, but who are still have their talents, have their dreams, and they should be supported and encouraged just to live happily, not just ever after, but to live happily with the talents that one has, instead of trying to be shamed or frustrated or even depressed that one is not following the general and standard pattern. And that is the way of trying to say that we are in line and in a mission, in a way, to provide it properly. And as luckily, as one can hear while the discussion started, each and every one, United States started like 2 days ago, the idea of observatory on AI to provide the best possible solutions, both on research and innovation fields. And we are doing the same in Europe. I hope you are doing the same in Japan. So I think each and every one, actually, to take into consideration the latest G7 announcement, I think we all are trying to find the best way to communicate and then to provide different sets of shoes instead of trying to find the one pair of shoes that fits all.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the idea. Maybe just new technology, AI advancement is not just issues of the one single country. It's international problems that we should focus on this moment. So, and finally, could you share your message to the listeners? I suppose that your experiences is very helpful for even the beginners who wants to educate the new technology, not just from the legal, but also the technical perspective. So could you share your thoughts in the final?
Okay, it's not going to be surprising because I'm a huge fan of talents that we have and profiles that we have, and the humanity that is our biggest strength. So I'm really happy to have this opportunity to speak with you and to speak with other my colleagues globally, because as I consider, and one can acknowledge, one can see that we differ, but what is the best part of it, we are all operating on the same good values and the same good approaches and the same valuable thoughts that we would like others to live and let us live, instead of just trying to gain something else. When you recognize kids, you'll see that their approach of being the good person is totally and undoubtedly is easy to be recognized in a very first seconds when you are speaking with the small kids. And I think that we all, in a way, are remaining kids until the final day of our lives. So what I would like to send as a message, just try to stay that particular kid that would like to communicate things, that would like to have the best time ever, instead of trying to be adult in some kind of inappropriate way that is concentrated on some sort of trends that are not proper, because you should listen to you, what is inside you and what you actually want to do. And one can believe, and it's really truly absolutely making my soul bigger is that so many people would like to go towards the same direction and have the same set of thoughts and opinions and remarks after each and every meeting. So I think that what has happened that one can concern as the some kind of attempts to find a way how to communicate, how to develop, is just some kind of not so fortunate attempt of trying to do something in a good way. So I think that what we need to do is just to follow the thing that we are the best of, being humans. That is my final message, I think.
Thank you. That's a very great message. And also it's a very informative and great conversation with you, Agata. So let's keep updating in terms of the new like upheaval in this sense of the new technology in society. We should harmonize, this new initiative together. So thank you for coming in this interview. Let's keep it updated.
Thank you so much for today, and see you next time. It was really nice to have this opportunity to speak about that particular part that we all are humans, and it's absolutely amazing that each and everyone who speaks about the topic resumes at the very end with the same sentence: "We're humans, so we can be proud of it."
Thank you.
Thank you so much.